Hey guys, I will put my 2 cents into this whole KD thing, where between the deadline, the Windhorse quote, the KD quote like a day later, and then the Shams reporting over the past day or two, we all see the writing on the wall. It seems like they're going to trade him in the offseason. If this video ages poorly, then that'll be funny. Also, real quick on the last video about the West, I don't think I told the whole story of the Chet iHeart lineups where OKC has been better with one big in the game as opposed to both of those guys in the game. No real concerns for it long term, and also Chet now has an ankle injury, but I just feel like I should have said that. So that's my bad. Okay, on to KD. They are 4 games out of the play-in right now. They're 2-8 in their last 10. The challenge here for the Suns is how can they set themselves up, mostly through a KD trade in the offseason, to have this next era around Book and I guess Bradley Beal for 2 seasons because he's got the no trade and just seems like he doesn't want to get dealt. Maybe that would change in the offseason, whatever, but who knows. The other thing, too, is with Book having 3 years on his deal after this season, sure, you've got a little bit of time, but you're pretty much on the clock to where the return for KD, and of course you can make other moves, but as we all know, they just do not have a lot of assets. It's got to show to Book that there is a clear pathway to being a good team again. The problem here, of course, is KD's age, where you're definitely going to get a good return for KD. I've seen some suggestions of the return for KD will be really disappointing, and sure, you're not going to get the equivalent of McHale, Cam Johnson, and 5 firsts. But I still find myself, I guess, being a little more optimistic on a KD return than some people out there. I get it. It's very easy to be cynical as hell about the Suns right now. But regardless, I don't think you're going to be able to get so many picks and a number of guys who help you out right now to where you can put an immediately good team around Book and also have a bunch of picks to set yourself up for the next few years. Unless I'm just totally wrong and somebody will give you the equivalent of what you gave up for KD, but again, he's older. The other thing with all this, too, is that they're expensive as hell and, second aprons and hard caps and all that stuff. This stuff is easier to navigate in the offseason, but still, this exists with the new CBA. Anyway, you want to talk some teams? Let's go to the Rockets. I think that's the easiest team to imagine. They've got the Suns picks, or at least some of them, because I think some of those Suns picks are with the Wizards. If I'm the Rockets and I have the Suns picks and they call me about KD, I would consider Book before KD if I'm the Rockets, because he's just way younger than KD. And so, therefore, if I'm Houston, I'm more willing to give up younger players, future assets for Book as opposed to KD. And they can definitely put a good deal together where I'm thinking about, Jalen Green, Cam, Shepherd, the picks I've got. Doesn't have to be all of that, but some of that. The one caveat with all that is Book actually has not been as good this season. Now, I'm choosing to not be concerned about that, but if you want to, then go ahead. And there's a decent chance the Suns would just not entertain any Book trade at all. But again, if I'm the Rockets, I'm at least trying it. I will also just say, any potential scorer that I'm trading for from the Rockets, I would prefer to hang on to Fred. But also, if I'm trading for a soon-to-be 37-year-old, I really don't want to trade very young players. So, I don't know. Again, I like Book more for the Rockets than KD. If KD was younger, then of course that'd be the other way around. But with all that said, if Houston was able to maintain their athleticism and toughness and defense, and you're not putting too much playmaking responsibilities on KD's plate when he shows up here, and he could focus on getting buckets, then yeah, that team's a hell of a team in an already really good West. And I guess just on the topic of a potential Book trade, which has definitely been brought up by a lot of people, and you can't ignore it when thinking about the future of the Suns. He's 28, he's got multiple years left in his deal. The floodgates would open up if Book became available. But because the Rockets have the Suns picks, they might just have all the power in that situation. So we'll see there. That's my Rocket spiel. Let's just talk KD the rest of the way. Another team I've seen brought up for this is Dallas. And oh man. All right. So Dallas would have to do Clay, PJ, and Gafford to get their money-wise for KD. It doesn't feel great, but it is 3 good players. I'm sure the Suns would ask for Christie or Lively. And at this point, who the hell knows what Dallas would do next, but I'd like to believe they would not move either one of those guys. They still can't move many picks, but regardless of asset talk about Dallas, if the follow-up to the Luka trade becomes KD, AD, and Kyrie around Lively, Christie, and just role players, then it feels like the NBA has officially jumped the shark, where Dallas is just begging for good health and vibes, and you're just going all in for 2 years, 3 years again. I don't know. KD's 37. He'll be 37 next year, my bad. Honestly, it just feels like anything Dallas does now, the basketball gods are just going to frown on it. Dallas fans already love Max Christie. Look forward to seeing AD healthy again. Still just a total disaster. If we can go to the Wolves, because there has been some of this. Randall's got a player option. Is he going to accept it? I don't know. We know Naz Reid's going to decline his. I imagine the Wolves want to keep Naz Reid, but in the case of Randall, Yeah, his $30 million will help you get to KD's money, but if I'm the Suns, this is ironic because Randall just came back after a month and had a good game versus Phoenix, but if I'm the Suns and Randall is the potential best player that I can get back in a KD deal, and also the Wolves have dealt a lot of their future picks already, I just don't feel that great. I understand contractually, it's an expiring, gives you flexibility. I understand all that stuff, but KD on the Wolves would be really cool, though. Again, their window here to convince Book everything's all good is not very long. Now, maybe Book just loves Phoenix no matter what, but I don't know. I have thought about the Grizzlies for KD, and I kind of love that on-court fit. However, they're not going to trade any of their top three guys. I mean, I assume they would not deal Bane. Obviously, they're not going to deal Ja or Jaren. And so then at that point, I just don't think it happens. There is also the OKC idea where I do think the basketball gods would be happier with that one. And of course, OKC's got as many picks as they need to create any trade you can imagine. Money-wise, it's either iHeart and a little bit of money, or it's you're trading like three core guys where Lou Dort is most likely in the deal. And those are the reasons why I feel like OKC would lean towards no, just because them getting that much older and moving at least some sort of draft something and trading at least one good player, it just doesn't feel like the way that they've operated for the last couple of years at all. So that's my holdup on that one. But would he be a good fit? Yeah, of course. I mean, KD fits anywhere. But we'll see how the playoffs go for them when thinking about these types of deals. You look at Miami, sure, they can get there money-wise without dealing any of their actual guys. But if I'm the Suns, then I'm not doing the deal. It doesn't feel like the Clippers are going to happen. I don't know. Look, obviously there's options out there. It's just, to get back to it, it's going to be real tough for the Suns to cobble together enough assets and win now players in a KD deal to then feel good, let alone really good, about the next 5 years or so. I mean, Book, Beal, Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, Ryan Dunn, Nick Richards, and Ryan Dunn's not even getting minutes like that right now. Well, it's a bit more his last 3 games, my bad. But yeah, I guess I'm just trying to imagine like what would be the as good as we can get it type of starting five with Book and Beal. I mean, it would be a much better center than you got on the team right now, a much better point guard than you got on the team right now, and at least one more like really, really good like two-way guy who can do more than just like play defense and shoot threes, but also do a lot off the dribble, be a bit of a playmaker as well. And I mean, now you're talking about 3 like damn good players to acquire. It's much easier said than done given their asset situation and all that stuff. So yeah, that's about it.